Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves. We're about to dive into a story so shocking and so disturbing that it will make your skin crawl. The Department of Justice has just released a letter that should have every American question the very foundations of our justice system. Ryan Routh, the man who tried to assassinate President Trump, didn't just fail in his attempt, he left behind a chilling message that puts a price tag on the former president's head. The implications are earth-shattering. Now listen closely. As we witness the unraveling of our justice system, there's another crisis that is looming. Our national debt has skyrocketed past $35 trillion. The government's printing presses are working overtime, devaluing your hard-earned dollars, but here is the kicker. While paper money loses value, gold has surged past $2,400 an ounce. Folks, it's time to protect your wealth. Call Global Gold Investments. That's the number you see right there. 888-700-4148 now. Give them a call, mention Next News, and receive their 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Not to be confused with Project 2025, which Donald Trump has no affiliation with. Yes, the 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide is absolutely free. You'll also get a complimentary portfolio analysis. Don't wait. Call 888-700-4148 or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Remember, if you don't have gold, you don't have wealth. Now, I want to get into this because, checking all the videos and the reactions to this letter has been pretty eye-opening. And there's one account that I follow on X, and it looks like, I believe it was Elon Musk even reposted this. So you know it got some eyeballs. Well, now you're going to see it. Democrats inspired Ryan Routh and Matthew Crooks to kill. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks, but this is going to wet your whistle for what we're about to reveal.
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
She's a genuine danger to American security.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
We have to preserve our democracy or speak out against lies and hate.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy and our most fundamental freedoms.
Kamala needs to stop saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. It's now being received by some unhinged people as a call to action. Enough is enough.
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens.
That video is absolutely true. The rhetoric and language coming from the left are inspiring people to take action in a very violent way, and a way that should be denounced by all sides. But you don't hear that denouncement from the Democrats. You only hear the amplification of it. That's just the beginning, my friends. Trump's latest would-be assassin wrote a letter that hit all the Democrat talking points. Days ago, over 100 government officials signed a letter hitting those exact same talking points. And the media blames Trump. By the way, amazing how they never call Biden unfit. Now watch this. This is a video of Kamala Harris. Now she's talking. You can see that little bubble floating over the letter. We're going to get into the details of the letter in a moment. But listen to these keywords.
He has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. He is dangerous and unfit. That is immoral. The nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term.
Using the exact same language as Kamala Harris and other Democrats in this letter. Upon reading Ryan Routh's grotesque rationale for assassinating President Trump, I was struck by the eerie familiarity of his words, and for good reason. They were not his words alone. In a chillingly unoriginal fashion, parroted the very phrases uttered by President Biden. His missive to the world reflected Biden's precise language, adopted weeks, if not months, before he began stalking the former president, emboldened by what can only be interpreted as the president's inflammatory summons. I've long suspected that such reckless rhetoric from the commander-in-chief, amplified by his accomplices in the media, would eventually yield violence, and now we have proof that it has. And wait till you see what this guy had on him when he was arrested. But let's take a look at this Jesse Waters clip real quick.
The same language Biden's used. The FBI wouldn't release the Nashville trans school shooters manifesto because they said at the time they didn't want to inspire more violence. But they published this guy's manifesto? And why'd they only cherry pick the first page? What else is in these letters? Law enforcement tells us publishing Routh's letter is basically giving the public a blueprint for the next assassination. And who the hell is this mysterious witness? Is he in custody? He sounds like a co-conspirator. And what kind of witness, you get a box from someone and you don't open it? Was he following instructions? And then he didn't give it to the feds until 3 days after the assassination attempt? And why is Routh writing letters assuming he didn't finish the job? And does the FBI even have custody of this letter, or did they just take a screen grab from a mysterious witness and submit it to the court?
Lots of questions being raised there. Lots of questions. Democrats inspired Ryan Routh and Matthew Crooks to kill. Meanwhile, we have 5 known teams hunting President Trump before the Butler, PA attempt was Ukrainian. Customs and Border Protection had the wherewithal to question the second would-be assassin and put him on the radar, yet Homeland Security investigations took no action.
Show up, who, by the way, I don't want you to think there are only 5. There are 5 teams that were known by our government to have been hunting Trump pre-Butler. That may be a very different number today. Matter of fact, that number could have increased or shrunk, right? For all we know, by today, they've neutralized one of the teams or one of the individuals involved in these efforts. But to hear that one of them is Ukrainian, and then you see this guy show up, who, by the way, was on the radar of Homeland Security investigations, because when he enters the country, the very smart and astute folks at Customs and Border Patrol, think about that. Your Customs and Border Patrol, your agency has been totally overrun. You're exhausted. And yet they have the wherewithal to say, this doesn't make sense. This guy's been all over the world. And now he's saying he's a freedom fighter, recruiting people. And when we ask him a reasonable question, who's funding your efforts to recruit people from Taiwan and Afghanistan to go fight in Ukraine?
Iran.
Who's funding that? And the answer is, my wife's paying for it. That story didn't exactly check out. You and I both have very successful wives that we're very proud of, but I don't think they'd pay for a hobby quite like this. And so when that goes to HSI, no activity, no action, no review. And now it emerges that one of the teams we knew about hunting Trump had a Ukraine connection.
A Ukraine connection. Sounds like a lot of that money going over to Ukraine is funding other missions. Let's keep digging. Keep digging into the truth. We're finding out now, NBC is now reporting Trump is going to be returning to Butler on October 5th, 1 month before the election. Talk about bold. God bless him and God protect him. Former President Trump scheduled to return to Butler, Pennsylvania for a rally on October 5th, the site of an attempted attack on his life. I wonder if it's going to be in the exact same location. Could you imagine if he goes back there? Wow. The defiance. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Trump assassin, Ryan Routh, had 6 cell phones that suggest he was likely working directly with a 3-letter agency to kill the president. His plan was perfectly coordinated to escape to Mexico in an unmarked car, and he almost got away with it. Where it gets super strange, though, is the letter his supposed friend received over a month beforehand. He claims the package was dropped off, but he only opened it after Ryan was arrested. Who doesn't open a mysterious package? Looks to me like a plant. If he fails, have someone pretend they received a letter to deflect from who is really behind this. And a $150,000 bounty to kill the president? That makes no sense. then repeating media lies word for word, implying other failed attempts. Only an idiot would believe the story they're trying to sell us right now. And we're also learning that Ryan Routh's son had some troubling videos or images on his personal computer that involved minors in acts that we cannot even utter here. Similar to what happened with the Las Vegas incident years ago. The brother of that shooter also had visual and photographic, I guess, imagery of the same nature. We're also learning now that Ryan Routh has been denied bail.
One county to the north. Kim, thank you. And the new body cam video shows the moment deputies surrounding the suspect on I-95 and put him into custody. This as a suspect went before a judge today.
NBC6's Steve Litz continues our live team coverage with more details on this arrest. Steve?
Hi, Jawan. Hi, Jackie. And authorities are still at this golf course collecting evidence, making sure they're not leaving anything behind. In that initial court filing, there are details there relative to the defendant's cell phone and its location pinned to this area for hours, a possible indication that the suspect, was waiting for former President Trump. Deputies arrested Ryan Routh, one county to the north of here in Martin County. And here now is the video of the moment that he was taken into custody.
Take 2 steps to your right! Driver! Walk straight back!
It's the body camera video worn by a deputy who helped arrest Ryan Routh.
Keep walking! I keep that low.
Martin County Sheriff William Snyder.
I saw him in the car. His facial affect was very bland. He was not emoting any emotions at all.
Investigators say Routh hid behind a tree line at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach yesterday and then pointed the barrel of a rifle through a fence. A Secret Service agent monitoring the golf holes in advance of former President Trump saw the gun and fired at it, not hitting Routh.
The rabbit hole goes even deeper, my friends. A witness has come forward. What was found in the vehicle: 2 additional license plates, 6 cell phones, one of which had a Google search on how to travel to Palm Beach from Palm Beach County to Mexico, 12 pairs of gloves, documents, and a handwritten list of dates that Trump would visit. A witness came forward and stated that Routh dropped off a box at his house, ammunition, metal pipe, various building materials, 4 phones, various letters, which included the letter he wrote in the event that he failed the assassination attempt. So who was this witness?
Travel from Palm Beach gives us an insight into what happened during the day of that attempted assassination. Now, while police searched Ruth's getaway car, they found 2 additional license plates as well as 6 cell phones. One of those cell phones had a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach County to Mexico. The agents also found 12 pairs of gloves and documents, including a handwritten list of dates in August through October 2024 with venues where the former president was and could be. Now, additional new details come from a witness. They said Ruth dropped off a box at his house a couple months ago with ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building materials, 4 phones, and various letters. Now, one of those letters addressed Dear World discussed the failed assassination attempt, even going as far as offering money to finish the job. Prosecutors will most likely argue this letter proves his intent. Now, today, Ruth is facing 2 gun charges that carry a combined maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The new court documents today say the rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had even a round in the chamber. There was fingerprint evidence on the rifle linking Ruth. Now, these are some of the not the most severe charges that they have right now, but they are enough to keep him locked up for now. Ruth's attorney will be able to request bond, but the judge will most certainly likely keep him in jail until a trial starts or more severe charges are brought in the future. Again, he was in court at 11 a.m. It's an hour.
It's going to be interesting to see if this guy actually makes it to court. Getting Lee Harvey Oswald vibes here to hide the fact of the people that perhaps ordered him to do this. John Creeman's USA, the DOJ releases Florida wannabe assassin letter. Why would they do this? The Ryan Routh letter offers a $150,000 bounty to whoever successfully assassinates Trump. Are you kidding me? What purpose does it serve the FBI? They wouldn't release the Nashville shooter's manifesto due to public safety concerns. But when it comes to Trump, the sky is the limit. There has to be an agenda in play, and it's dangerously deadly. The DOJ just put a bounty out on President Trump's head by releasing this. It is outrageous. If this was intentional, Garland and Wray are out of control. Marjorie Taylor Greene also posting this. The DOJ releasing the letter written by Ryan Routh, offering $150,000 to anyone who could finish the job on President Trump. She says the DOJ, which is trying to put Trump in prison, is now offering a bounty on Trump's head by releasing this. Why else would they release this? Here's another post. DOJ releases letter from would-be President Trump assassin. In it, Routh confirms that this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you, he says. It's now up to you to finish the job, his words. And apparently he has $150,000 ready for whoever can complete the job. This is all now public record. Offering a $150,000 bounty. The DOJ releases the letter. Why would they publicly release such a thing? Bill Barr even coming out and blasting the DOJ for releasing the letter, alleging the would-be Trump assassin is dumbfounded. Let's take a look deeper into this New York Post piece. Former U.S. Attorney General William Barr panned the Justice Department. He once ran for publicly disclosing a chilling letter from the man who allegedly attempted to assassinate former President Trump. In court filing, Monday, prosecutors released a disturbing note they claim was authored by Ryan Wesley Routh, 58, as proof of his intent. Barr told Fox News, I was dumbfounded that DOJ made public this morning the contents of the letter that Routh left with an acquaintance prior to the attempted assassination. Even Barr dumbfounded. An interesting post as well. Thinking caps on. This is claiming that Routh wrote a letter before the non-assassination attempt stating his attempt failed. Pre-failure? Isn't that interesting? Pre-failure. Ryan Routh letter made public but not Audrey Hale's writings. We don't have the Las Vegas shooter's writings either, but that letter was okay to release. Madeline says the evidence is now overwhelming that Biden and his AG Garland are complicit in any further attempts on Trump's life. Releasing the letter promising the bounty to anyone who succeeds is an egregious and unforgivable breach of legal ethics. Sorry I failed you. Failed who? World? Or his contractors? If the letter was dropped off in a box a month ago, how did he know he was going to fail? Or were there two letters and an accomplice had to pick the appropriate one to disclose? Here's more. Let's see what Jack Posobiec had to say on this.
Under seal, no. The DOJ wanted that information out. That's very clear. They didn't have to put that out. They didn't have to say that. They could have done this under seal. No. They did it public, in full view. All right. And people can talk about all the other manifestos and all the other writings that they kept private. They know how to do that. They could have redacted that entire page, but they didn't. They put out in public, in full view, after all the things that they've redacted over all the years. So listen to this. FBI agents located an SKS semi-automatic 7.62 by 39 caliber rifle with a scope attached and extended magazine. The rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had 1 round in the chamber. This guy was condition 1. He was ready to take the kill shot the minute Trump walked across his field of view. The minute Trump walked across on the 6th hole, on the 6th green, Trump International, West Palm Beach, Ryan Wesley Routh was planning to take the shot to end his life right there on his own golf course. Condition 1, ready to fire. Talk about the plates. We already covered that. So we knew that last week. Human Events Daily was one of the first places that told you that the backpack and shopping bag both contain plates. The plates, and again, as we told you all last week on the show, folks, all last week, nobody else was talking about this. Here you go, DOJ. Subsequent preliminary ballistics testing showed the plates were capable of stopping small arms fire. So they tested the plates, they tested up, and it is possible. We do not yet know for sure, but it is possible that these plates are the reason that the Secret Service agent, when he engaged Routh, was not able to get a shot on him. It's possible because these plates may have actually worked. And you can see they're tied up on the fence. This guy didn't have a high level of training, but he had some level of training. We're seeing some of those tactics, techniques, and procedures that he would have learned when he was over in Ukraine, that he would have learned through the foreign fighters there. Now we're told again, and I've reported this again and again, that I have no information that he actually carried a gun in combat. However, he was actually in the combat zone, unlike Tim Walz. And so that individual, Ryan Wesley Routh, it's possible and we have some reporting on this through human events sources, that he received training on an AKM, which is a Kalashnikov platform very similar to the SKS. Basically, I've trained with Polish SKS, I've shot a Chinese SKS, I've shot a Russian AK-47, all the different AKMs and PKMs, which are different. But, the Kalashnikov series, ask any shooter out there that once you've fired a few of those, you get a really good sense for them. They all operate generally quite similar. There's certainly some different settings, and obviously this one was modified for extended range, but there's also different modifications you can make for fully auto, something you switch the clip to the middle, that type of thing. So there's different things you can do, but any training is basically interchangeable. The deal tested the
that's
plates.
Interesting because you see the plates there in those bags. I was wondering why they were attached to the fence, but it makes sense now because he was actually using them as cover. I thought he was just putting them up there to hold something, or maybe keep his gear nearby. But if they're completely full of plates, he was clearly protecting himself from any return fire. Ryan Routh's confession letter shows Democrats have stirred up violence against Trump. New York Post. The FBI has suspiciously released a letter written by him who attempted to assassinate Trump. Let's take a look at Rising. This is
assassination attempt on Donald Trump. In a Florida courtroom this morning, the government has submitted a handwritten note allegedly written by Ryan Routh, the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump at his golf club in Florida last weekend.
The letter was addressed to the world and stated, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job. Wow. And I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job."
Prosecutors say that Routh put that letter inside a box and dropped it off with an unnamed witness months ago, far before he was caught on Trump's golf course in Florida. This letter is one of the reasons that prosecutors are saying that Routh should continue to be detained. So this part is going to boggle everybody. So this letter was not written subsequent to the assassination attempt, because the tone of the letter is, "I have failed to assassinate Trump," but this was given to someone else some months ago, according to reporting from the Washington Post and others. And so this person just came forward and gave the letter. Now, it was in a box, so it's unclear whether this witness knew they had what was a credible threat of, the letter suggests he had already tried this and failed. So maybe there was some other thwarted assassination attempt we don't know about.
We don't know. We do not know. Lots of questions are still happening here. Let's see what
airs the letter. Okay. I don't understand it. All I know is that he took a box with letters in it to a female. All right. The female says she first thought about opening the box when she heard that Ryan Routh had attempted to assassinate the president. Now, I also understand that there are other letters in the box. This initial letter is apparently apologizing for not actually killing his intended victim. So my question is, are there other letters that indicate that if he did accomplish the goal that he set out to do they do something else? I want to know about all the other letters. I want to know what the relationship is. And you did great on your show, Jesse, and you should talk about all of the inconsistencies. This guy doesn't have money to pay child support, so they let him off of child support. He doesn't have the money to get an attorney, so we give him, of course, a taxpayer-funded attorney. But the thing that absolutely infuriates me is the fact that the Department of Justice made a decision to publish this letter, which is so incendiary. And I said last week, the left won't be happy until they put a bounty on Donald Trump's head. And they just did by publishing that letter, saying 150,000, I'll give you 150,000 if you assassinate the president. This is, talk about unhinged. This is a reason for someone who's unhinged to actually act on it. It's an outrage. And when they publish this, it's un-American by the Department of Justice. This is the Biden-Harris Department of Justice leaking this information to the public, and I think it's disgusting. Now, where did this guy get $800,000 to live in a bungalow in Hawaii? Where does he get the money to go to Thailand, Ukraine, and all the other countries that he goes to? And the Justice Department says, look, the reason we let it out is to establish intent. That's nonsense. Take it from one who knows what she's talking about. You can establish intent without publishing this, and you can do it at the time of the trial, or you can do it at the time of motion to dismiss the case. But this man is, this letter is not only a call to arms, it is telling people, I'll reimburse you if you kill him.
Wow.
Jessica.
Judge Jeanine Pirro on fire there. Real America's Voice. I have no trust in what they do. Tara Dahl wants to know why the DOJ would release this letter.
There's head. He's so crucial. Tara, with your security background, why would the DOJ release this?
That's the question, and that's the question that Don Jr. raised today, too. You're putting a bounty on my father's head, he said, and that's the question, too. As far as the first assassination attempt and how they FBI, DOJ, they're completely stonewalling Congress. They're not providing any information. But all of a sudden, they decide to release this letter. It raises some serious questions. Just like you said, Michelle, where is he getting the money? How did he pay for the flights? Who's providing all of the stuff with the car, the guns, everything that he had? There's a lot of questions to be answered right now.
Yeah, Tara, is there any reason, legally or so on and so forth, that they would do something like this? Is there precedence for something like this? I know this is kind of your wheelhouse. So I want to make sure, before we move on, we address that.
Well, when you look at this DOJ and the weaponization of it, there is nothing that gives precedence to anything that they do. They pick and choose what they want to do. They don't provide the answers to Congress. They stonewall Congress, but yet they release information that they want to release for their own purposes. So someone like me, I've been through the whole weaponization. I've seen it firsthand. I have no trust in what they do and why they do it, if it's for the benefit of the American people, and certainly not for the benefit of this case or to provide any actual information on what happened with this assassination attempt against the president.
Lots of media reaction in the fallout of this. Here is, I can't believe how much there's out there.
As now Ryan Routh.
This is News Nation.
The suspect in the second assassination attempt against former President Trump has now released a letter talking about what he was doing that day. This is a written note submitted as part of the government filing today. Routh says, quote, "Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you," adding that he believes Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a president. He is expected in court within the next couple of hours for a pre-trial detention hearing.
Okay, so, folks, the bottom line is, the letter's been released. Who funded this guy? And he's being hunted. Trump is being hunted.
To me.
And Routh could have been one of those hit teams. Let's listen to Dan Bongino's warning.
Listen to me. Trump is being hunted by professionals who know exactly what they're doing. And because I hate teases, is the Secret Service compromised? Now, I know you say, well, Dan, you brought that up last week. Is there a mole, whether intentional or unintentional, in the Secret Service? I'll talk about that. But someone, let's just say who can be trusted, I spoke to last week at the end of the week, has informed me that their communication system for the Secret Service may be almost entirely compromised. In other words, people trying to hunt and kill Donald Trump may know more about what Donald Trump is doing than Donald Trump is doing. Folks, we got a serious problem. And the problem is the people in charge of the Secret Service right now are not serious people. The people at the top are too busy trying to cover up their own role in the substandard security plan for President Trump. Nothing is going to change. We are in real trouble. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to panic anyone. I'm trying to tell you this isn't over. You thought it was over after the first one? We had the second one. You thought it was over after the second one? Folks, there's more. He is being hunted right now. Listen to me.
Being hunted. That's what's happening right now. Donald Trump. But it goes back to the rhetoric. It goes right back to the rhetoric that was so perfectly played in this mashup with the Joker. And all the rhetoric, the violent rhetoric that was presented by all these Democrats. Oh, man. I don't even know, man. We just need to pray for this country. Well, I don't know what. These people are so evil. I mean, there's just a darkness over this country, and only God can lift it. And these people are straight up just demon-filled entities who are doing everything that they can to stir up lunatics all over this country. 5 assassination hit teams from all over the world coming in. Lunatics coming out of the woodwork. Secret Service failures. It's because Donald Trump knows how to fix his country. He knows how to drain the swamp. And he's going to fix everything. He's going to dry up that gravy train in Ukraine for the military-industrial complex. Of course, the deep state can't have that. They need that money flowing. We're learning millions upon millions of more dollars are being sent to Ukraine. Where does that money go? There's no accountability for it. Does it just go into more of Joe Biden's LLCs that are scattered across Europe and make their way back to the United States? How does it work? These are questions we need answers to. Whatever happened to that Biden impeachment, by the way? Yeah. Well done, GOP. You guys are failures all around. You are all accomplices in the destruction of this country. All the rhinos, every one of you. You might as well just paint a D on your head because you're all Democrats. Doesn't matter. You're all establishment, deep state, swamp creatures. Now, this letter, my friends, is not just a threat. It's a wake-up call. $150,000 bounty on a former president's head, released by the very department sworn to uphold justice. Is it incompetence, or is it something far more sinister? The lines between justice and political vendetta are starting to blur, and we are left to wonder, who is really pulling the strings?